All right, welcome back to Bay Sunday. Our next guest is a renowned sculptress honoring law enforcement canines and their handler officers. Please welcome Susan Bahary. Thanks for joining us this
Thanks
morning.
for having me.
What inspired you to start? This is a unique niche work market.
It is. I always loved dogs. I used to raise and show them, and I understood that bond, and I've always just loved them, and that passion translated into my art. And I received the first, the commission to do the first war dog memorial for our country in 1994. And after that, and after meeting the people involved who serve us, I was very inspired by what they do.
Why was it important to memorialize these dogs? It seemed to be sort of forgotten servants.
That's true. They have saved countless lives in every war, and prevented in World War II, our soldiers from being ambushed when, for example, in Guam, the Japanese were hiding in the caves. The dogs could save their lives, and this was very useful. And today we know more than ever these dogs are just invaluable. There's nothing like a dog.
Absolutely, on so many levels. Let's take a look at some of your work here. Tell us about this particular dog.
Well, Faithful Partner, a German Shepherd, stands at the UC Davis Veterinary School, and it's our state's monument to our canines who have died in the line of duty. And so dogs are memorialized on a plaque there when they have died in the line of duty. And every 2 years is a very touching ceremony, and there will be one this October.
All right, wonderful. And when you do these sculptures, is it modeled after a particular dog?
Well, sometimes, usually it's sort of a combination of a representation of several dogs, as it was in the monument Faithful Partner, trying to capture the essence of all the dogs. And in Anaheim, I just did 2 monuments that similarly were inspired by Canine Bruno, but were to all the dogs.
Wonderful. Let's take a look at another one of your beautiful pieces of work. This is not a German Shepherd.
No, you are right. That is a 4-pound Yorkie named Smokey, a very famous little dog who was actually won in a poker game in New Guinea. And Bill Wynn, her owner, trained her and ended up teaching her how to do 250 tricks to cheer up the troops in World War II. And she is known by many, or considered to be the first therapy dog on record. And she's memorialized in Cleveland and in Australia.
And people might underestimate the role that a dog can play in therapy.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, we all know there's just so much that they can do to bring the spirits up. And we've seen it with the search and rescue dogs, and how there's such a connection there. We've seen it in the military, where, those dogs are sort of a lifeline. They depend on each other, the handlers and the dogs.
It is amazing. When there's a dog in the room, there's always a topic of conversation to be had.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, let's take a look at another one of your pieces of work.
Well, this was my most recent one, unveiled this past Saturday. It's called Vigilance, and this was one of the 2 monuments that I was commissioned to do by the city of Anaheim. And inspired by Canine Bruno, you might have heard of the shepherd that was shot in the mouth when he was pursuing a suspect, and had many surgeries and survived the surgeries for 2 years after that. And so this monument, Vigilance, represents the heart, that alertness that's so required by these dogs who serve our law enforcement
we
so
know
bravely.
Dogs are busy. Dogs move around a lot. How do you do this?
Well, you're right. You do have to have a certain knowledge, but you do everything you can. You use live models. I use photographs. I take measurements, and I try to understand the subject really well and try to put that expression and that energy into the dog to try to do justice to the heart that they have and that connection they have with the handler, so that people will understand in the future this is a very important tool. And with terrorism today, these canines do more than they were ever required to do before.
And how long does it take you to do each piece?
Oh, it takes a few months from the original research and the photographs, and then you work with a skeletal base, like armature. You put clay on it. You then have a mold made, a casting. It's a very long process that involves many artists throughout the process. Oh,
that's really cool. Yeah. If you want to see more of Susan's work, log on to SusanBahary.com, or Bahary Studios, rather, BaharyStudios.com, and you can see all of her beautiful pieces of art. Thank you for joining us this week for Bay Sunday. We're going to be back next week. Actually, Kenny Choi will be back in the seat next week.